Hello.
Hello to me or hello to the world?
Hello to both.
Oh, hi. Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice hoodie.
Yeah, thank you.
Would you say Deadpool is your favorite Marvel character?
I don't know if he's my favorite Marvel character, but definitely a highly enjoyable Marvel character. Though I must say, actually, I must not not that I must or not say, must say. I don't have to must say, but I will say is I did not enjoy the Wolverine
Really?
Deadpool movie. Yeah, I just felt like I just
I don't know if
I
we
don't
can
know.
be friends.
It didn't connect with me as strongly as the first two movies did.
Yeah,
Um,
I can see
yeah,
that. Like it getting a little bit old.
and they're also getting old. Literally Wolverine's come back from the dead,
Yeah.
and then it. This is so mean. I don't even want to say it, but like I feel like he looks like he's dying on screen. I'm sorry. It's like I know everyone's praising it, but that's what you look like. I'm not saying I look amazing. We already discussed this the last time. But I'm saying, I don't know. Hugh Jack is amazing. Look, amazing. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Like,
This is off to an interesting start.
um, he looks 65 on screen. What can I say? Like, and that's fine. And the story is about them aging and them doing all that. And so all of that is fine. It's just, I don't know. It gets overplayed, I think. Okay, I'm done. I'm done my rant.
That's funny. I actually went to a writing group, like, and we did challenge night every month or so. And I wrote a little short story about Deadpool. I
Oh,
will have to
wow.
share it at some point.
Yes, please. And when you say challenge, do you like duel? Like, do you pick another
No,
writer and you come to the center stage and you kind of duel out your stories?
no, it's not confrontational like that.
Oh, the challenge is like they give you a prompt and you write
Yeah, yeah,
about. That's
yeah.
okay.
It's essentially like pretend like you're ChatGPT.
Got it. Yeah. So you get a. That's right. You get a prompt and you have to now produce.
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay. Got it.
it was interesting.
Okay. All right.
All right. Anyway, back to what we are actually here to do. Um, so, yesterday, we were both here, and I think I had left halfway through, or like maybe two
Mm-hmm.
thirds into it. Um, so, if you want to give me a recap of where things left off.
Yeah, I think I can even quickly share my screen here, if you will allow, and I shall. Oh, perfect. So the bits I worked on, super simple, is this highlight when someone is current. I have to still fix some styling misalignment stuff. But for example, if they're correct, we move on. So the next person sort of is highlighted. These icons don't show up because the random animal generator, not all emojis exist for all animals that are randomly generated. So at some point, we'll have to pick a fixed set, similar to how we have a fixed set for our adjectives, our alliterated adjectives. And now if I do incorrect here, um, they're
Nice.
crossed out. We go next, and that motion is happening. And you'll see down here as well, these numbers are being updated as we go.
Wait, I
So
can't see it
that's,
on the stream.
oh, that's because we've taken over. Disappointing. Here, allow me to adjust as we, oh, my name's still there, but you can see this. You can see
Yes.
this, and you can imagine from your design
Yes.
this. All right, let's go back. All right. And that was it on my end, really. My next steps were to Well, I don't even know if I should go on Figma because I don't know what's changed since I last saw it. So I'll hold off on that. But my next steps were to readjust this process because we added a reveal answer step in the design in order to accommodate for the teacher not being able to answer complex questions. So this is 12. Most
Yes.
teachers would know that. But we do have more complex questions that we have to address. And that was going to be my, I mean, obviously, I didn't notice sort of this misalignment happening here. So I'd probably start there and then move on to um, that flow for, unless I don't know what other design elements have changed since. So that might guide what I do now.
Okay, sounds good. Um, I can share a little bit about. Just trying to see how to hide. Again, I am struggling with the shortcuts on PC because
Mm.
um, I am not used to using it. Okay, all right. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to hide comments because like, is it just me? Oh,
Are they not for public consumption? So when I,
Shift plus C. Okay. I was just trying to figure out the shortcut for hiding comments.
Mhm.
So Shift C. There we go. All right. So yesterday when you were coding away, I spent a bit of time just doing some design adjustments in the background. So not too many differences, and mostly just basically fleshing out what we've already talked about. So the idea is rather than, giving the teacher the correct and incorrect option right away, the action here is to reveal answer,
Mhm.
um, and then the question becomes, did they get it right? I don't know about the phrasing here, but that's something we can change. But essentially, did they get it right? And then like you're basically comparing the correct answer and whatever the student gave, and then providing feedback on whether it was correct or incorrect.
Mhm.
Um, and then this could be the same screen as well. Is my thinking is like we, we don't have to put the answer away or anything like that. Um, I added a comment here about like I ambitiously want to add like confetti animation or something of that
Oh
sort.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
for the incorrect scenario, I want to add like raindrops animation, just like
Yeah,
cover the whole
yeah.
screen. So that's kind of what I have so far. Like there's again not too many differences. I changed up the font a little bit to a font
Right.
that's a little bit more legible, but also like more customizable than the last one that I used, which did not have any weight options. Um, so yeah, this is all I've done yesterday. So not too
Yeah.
much, and I am hoping to flesh out more of the UI as you continue coding and making some of these changes.
Cool. I did actually go through these changes yesterday at the end of my stream. So
Oh,
and the comment I had is um I guess one of my concerns is on the once we click reveal answer, my heart wants to still see the question. And the example I gave was um, this is on stream yesterday too, which is um, like when I was a student, I knew a lot of cheaters who would be like, let's say they answered 10, and they'd be like, no, it was 3 plus 7. And
ah,
they'll take advantage of like the question not being present. And which makes me feel like at this stage I would love to. And granted that we still have to play around with kind of the larger word questions, like the Beyonce level word questions that we had, and the spacing and the legibility, like all that is still in play. But definitely, I would love to continue to see the question here.
okay. Do you think it needs to be uh, like large and highlighted, or
Um,
something more subtle is.
well, I mean, maybe a bit larger than this, but not. It doesn't have to be as central as before. But then again, I think um, as long as we just keep that requirement in place, I don't. I mean, the specifics. Honestly, I'm not too tied to um, the visual stuff on these pages just yet. Although I will code it as it is here, knowing that
Yeah,
this will shift as we bring newer elements in here. So that's fine.
yeah. I think that's the other part that I want to start considering as I flesh
Hmm.
out more of the UI is I have on a separate browser open, like with the actual questions um, from the
Right.
context. Um, it's certainly interesting, like how some of them are formatted as well.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we'll have to
Yeah.
figure
I
out how
mean,
to like display halves. Like how do we like how? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And there's some research I think that we'll need to do into, like we spoke last time, the languages that are available in order to do mathematical or formulaic representation, which is LaTeX,
Mm,
that I know of, but there might be others. And something we can dig into to see whether we leverage that or whether we do something else. I'd prefer to obviously leverage something that already exists, um, and then we can build on top of that, and then kind of leave the details of, like, the fractions and all that to that, and then just as long as we focus on placement and legibility and all that stuff.
okay, sounds good. Other than that, was there any other negotiations we need to be doing?
Well, I see that. I see that you've put no work into um, getting me my background
Oh,
color range. I see that
right.
that's just been completely ignored. It's fine. It's fine. I'm just I'm just one man with
Okay,
a
I
need
will.
for honey. Just like, I'm sorry, I don't even know what I'm saying now. With a need for a
For more
honey
honey. Okay, more honey.
level background. You know how
I will
Christopher
look
Walken's
at.
like more cowbell? Do you know the more cowbell skit
I
from?
don't think I do.
Do you know the more cowbell skit? Okay, well, I'm not going to describe it. It's
Okay,
but if
I
you,
will
this
look
is
it up.
I mean, this is pre-internet meme, I believe, but also an internet meme. So more cowbell is something that it's like a 4 minute clip, I think, or something from SNL, I want to say. Um, and so
Hmm.
I want the way he says, more cowbell. I want more honey.
Okay, I'll have to watch that video and get cultured. Okay, I can definitely look into the honey.
It's
uh,
not, again, it's not the most important thing. It's just the most important thing to me.
okay, I mean
Sorry,
that's important. That's
I'm not.
important.
Yeah.
I will find
Okay.
the timestamp that you referred to.
Yeah, I did look it up. I did look up the timestamp. I did um,
And I did say
find it.
KK will try to replicate.
We'll see.
That's a promise.
Yeah, but maybe you do it and you don't like it, and then we have to negotiate, and then that's what we'll do. So I'm
Cool.
I'm happy to do that.
Cool. You want to take over screen share?
Sure. All right. Okay, so let me get my bearings again. Um, the highlights are functional. The counts down here are functional. It's not necessarily pixel perfect just yet, but I'm still moving my way through. And then when I loaded the app today and refreshed just earlier, even in the stream, I noticed there was some misalignment here. I'll start from there. And then I think my focus will be adding this extra state that we have built here. So before we had a lock and answer state. So there, and then we got rid of it. And now we sort of have a reveal answer state. Okay, so let's see what this issue is. And then, I mean, just for spatial purposes, I have my water and coffee here. And I have a couple of mini croissants, which I may or may not eat today. We'll see. To be decided. All right, so what's happening here? And maybe what's good for me is just to jump right into the HTML, which for some reason I haven't been doing immediately, and trying to see, so we have this div here, and it doesn't have the flexy goodness. And so should there even be a div? Because this CSS seems to address what, oh yeah, no, there needs to be a div because that CSS is for someone else. And then here, flex item center gap 2 seems legitimate. And now we have what we want to see. I'm just want to get a sense of whether the gap is even necessary. So when I remove the gap, yeah, I mean, the gap is necessary, but it's a bit weird because text is fixed. I am going to say, can I just say 1.5? And that looks like that's being read. Another thing while I'm in this area, I guess I want to see is, this space looks a bit weird, but that's just because of the icon issue that I was talking about earlier. But let's see what it looks like when we do have someone with an icon. And it seems like this space is still a bit larger than what I was noticing here. So even as Mary's moving around in this space, let me get in here and try and get a sense of what this is. Okay, 24. And so let me see what my padding is here. So I guess what's happening is here, this padding is 24. We see the P6. And we see the padding on that, on the pop-up or the popover that's there. But additionally, there's some room for padding on the icon itself. And I'm just wondering whether I put any time into adjusting that. So let's see. The P6 is coming from up here, PX6. And the thing is, like, I feel like it should be closer. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying, like, it's not as big a deal to me whether it's, 24, 20 or what have you. It's just visually, it just seems it should be a little bit tighter to the edge. So that padding is coming from this header. And just to verify that, if I said PX2, I would expect this to move closer. And that actually looks more like what I want over here, because there's a PX2 happening here and some additional padding or spacing happening here. But now our friend turn on the other side is too close, which means that I will just need to adjust. I'm good with a more or less like a P4 spacing. And even then, like, I'm actually okay without even having to tighten this a bit, even though this spacing is a bit more than this. But it bothers me just a little bit enough to find out what it is. And if it ends up taking too much time, then I'll skip it. So I guess my assumption is that UAvatar, the component, is where it's coming from. And according to the code, that's that. That's this. I'm just going to switch back and forth just a little bit so this is my actual entire component, and this span is my avatar. And it does have 40 by 40. It has some margins on the side, I believe. Or what is that? Because padding shows up as green, right? Yeah, padding shows up as green. I think margin shows up as as purple, but just looking through the classes here, I'm not seeing anything that's kind of stands out to me as what's causing it. Rounded full, hidden, justify. Is size doing it? Size is doing it. So if I did something, like I wonder what it would look like if I said, well, I guess that's Excel. Because the icon itself, no, that doesn't look right either. Okay, well, I mean, for me, that's, oh no, wait. Yeah, let's see. I was gonna say that's enough for me, but let's see. So, come on. All right. Avatar, and because somewhere, somewhere it has a size itself, and it's causing that. But I guess, yeah. Yeah, no, I lied. I'm not as invested now anymore. I'm just going to leave it like this for now and move on to the applications flow. Okay. Oops. So back to the page that is answering. We have our buttons over here, and the footer now contains all the state navigation. And there's a set answer state, and I'm not sure which sets the answer state on the server and then populates this answer state variable. And this answer state variable still has locked in as one of the options. And let me see if that's referenced anywhere else. I'm not seeing that referenced anywhere else. So locked in can become reveal answer. So now we have an additional reveal answer state. So you're pending an answer, I suppose, or pending something. And then pending is the initial state. And then reveal answer will be the state that brings us here. To this screen, which contains these buttons. And so this should not be that bad to maneuver into, I think. Okay. We got our question, we got our correct answer. So right now, right, we don't have the middle answer screen. So let me start off by saying I want to see these buttons in the reveal answer state, and then I'll additionally add another if block that is pending. And this pending block, I'll just copy the buttons for now so I have something to show. So now I have this pending block, and this block should now show me this reveal answer button. So let's get that going. And this reveal answer button is actually styled very much like the next up button. So I'll copy that up and we'll replace that. This will become reveal answer. And we're still using that right button. We don't need the next player check here. Everything else will remain the same. And then here, we're not setting the answer state on the server side. So I'm not going to use this function really. Maybe I should rename it because it sets the answer state and it only cares about correct and incorrect. What I want to do is directly change this variable here. So and I don't feel like I need to necessarily create another function for it. So I can just say answer state is equal to reveal answer. That's exactly it. And this should now functionally take us here to here, but there's nothing on display because while I modified the buttons, I don't have anything to show here. And also the text here needs to change as well, right? As Mary was pointing out earlier. So let's go, whoops, let's go to that spot. Did Mary get... Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about the honey level right now?
Oh, this is not the same honey from the... I just know it's not the same. It's different. The gradient seems flipped. Am I correct?
Yeah, I took a screenshot on the left. If you scroll to the left.
Ooh, ah. Do you just... I mean, come on. Like, I'm gonna be honest here. I'm not gonna hold anything back, Mary. You just brace yourself, please.
Okay, so it's not the same, but is it better or worse?
Okay, I see. I do like it better. I do like it better. I feel like the gradient here really had something. I don't know what. Like, it's really covering the shades of honey for me here. You know? And the distribution is nice. Like, there's not too much dark and there's not too much light, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I'm just again, this is just like a very instinctual reaction. Whereas here...
Okay, I am changing it live.
Oh, it's good. No, what am I supposed to critique?
I'm not trying to gaslight you.
No, whereas in this earlier design, I felt like there was a lot of light here. Where's the balance of darkness and light?
Okay.
And I am getting philosophical here. The balance of darkness and light here is very nice, and there's not too much light. You don't want it to get in your eyes, and you don't want too much dark so you can't see anything. And this felt like Goldilocks to me.
Okay.
But obviously, variations are fine.
Okay, keep going.
All right, so I need to now add the text here and then the visual here that shows the question in slightly lesser prevalency and then a reduced prevalency. And then here the answer is central. And what's the image? Just a cup of coffee. Okay, we can do that. So I'll start off by doing this, and then we'll get to this. And from my perspective, the rest of the functionality should be super similar. So this stays the same here, simply the icon changes and then the button changes. And again, I'm not going to focus on adjusting for duplicated code too much yet. And we'll get to it when we get to it. So is answering is where I want to go. And we have pending, and then we have reveal answer state. But this is a bit different. So far, our case had Mary Mary at the front, and this one has it in the sentence. So I can't do this anymore. I'm seeing whether I should accommodate that or kind of I'm also trying to see whether a sentence that starts with Mary Mary makes sense here. Mary Mary.
I can chat GPT this.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Wow. All right. Artificial intelligence, the rescue. Yeah, I'm not saying, like, I feel like did or some kind of, I don't even know what. You're an English expert. What's this called? What is did? Does, did, like these words, what are they?
Is it a verb? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm a fake
words.
English major.
Who knows? Mary, anybody can be a fake English major. I'm a fake English major. If it's fake, then
okay, how about,
that's excessive.
How about something like that? But then.
But it's not true. They didn't necessarily lock in. Oh no. No, they did. They did. Because before the answer is revealed, they do have to lock in. Yeah, no, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go with this. I'm okay with it being what
Yeah.
it was, and we can change that. I just want to. It's just I'd have to change this block of code
No,
and adjust
I
it.
wasn't really a fan of that phrasing either. So I think like having the player name at the start would
First.
help
Hmm.
just set expectations.
Yeah. Okay. So was it correct? We got that spot, and then let's go on and take a look at this over here on pending, and then uh, get reveal answer state. And now I should start to see something here. Whoops. I guess every time I'm saving, my state is being reset, which is unpleasant, slightly unpleasant, because I would have thought that hot module reloading would maintain the state as I modified this, but maybe that needs to be adjusted in Nux settings. And for now, it's actually just refreshing every time. Okay, so what do I want? I do want the question slightly changed. Maybe this is also a good time for me to take a look at the font. Oh, it's just oops, it's just regular font times. It's not nothing special, just the default font. So when I come back here, no, wait, what? Hold on. It says DM Sans. This is not DM Sans. This is like Bolo or something. Why is this? Why am I being lied to? What am I doing wrong?
I think it is DM sounds. Is it not?
Is it?
It's only the big question that is
Huh.
Alu. Is it
Oh.
different?
Okay. So this is different, and we are changing the font mid cycle.
Honestly, I'm okay with sticking to DM songs to start because
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna tweak it.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
fair. Okay, cool, awesome. So here, let me adjust the size to something smaller. So here it does become smaller. I'm not gonna fixate too much on the actual sizes because all of this will change. Why is my? Now you know what apps I have. Now you know who I truly am. Okay. But it is mildly comforting, I gotta tell you. So this is a bug, right? Because this is not my main screen. I did not start off the stream with this as my main screen. And so my tab bar should not show up on this screen. But, okay, if I just tab, it doesn't show. But if I hold and tab, it shows. Got it. Okay, so I'm learning about but it shouldn't be on this screen at all because this is not my main screen. One of these other screens was my main screen. I tested that before I went live on stream, right? Because I don't want to expose myself as somebody who uses Signal or Slack or Postman. Okay. I'm just saying. And then whatever was there could be anything. Who knows?
That's true.
So I don't want that revealed, which is why every time I join the stream, I make sure that it's on a different screen. And then midstream, for some reason, this happened last time as well, starts showing up on my shared screen. Why?
Unacceptable.
Yeah. But what's comforting is it's a bug, I feel like. And I code bugs in my software. So I feel like Apple with like they have what? Trillions of dollars just in their coffers. And they're like, this, who cares? So, like if you have that many resources and you can't fix, this seems very deterministic. It's not like some neutrinos from space hit my Mac and now like changed the course of where this taskbar should be or the tab bar should be. I feel like this is fairly like a totally fixable bug. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna code.
You should send that send that in.
but I guess I'm afraid if I do that, it'll be revealed that I made some mistake somewhere or some, like, I'm not afraid. I'm just saying.
I have a
But okay.
question for you, since you've been asking me questions as I
Ooh.
design. Um, is this how you would build stuff if no one was watching?
You mean ranting about my tab bar? Sorry.
Just like the work
How,
style.
um, yes and no. I mean, for one thing is, I I wouldn't be using a single screen, so I wouldn't be switching back and forth unless I'm on my Mac. If I'm on my Mac, I'm switching back and forth. But if I am not, then I'm watching this screen at the same time. So there's like the flow is fairly different.
Hmm.
That's for one. My text size here would be smaller, so I see more code, and that way I split. I see more code, have more context, so I have less context on stream. And then what else? Um, let's see. Um, I do sometimes narrate to myself what I should be doing next. Right? I'd be like, oh, I got to do this next. Sometimes
Like
out
out
loud,
loud?
sometimes
Okay.
sometimes out loud. I'm like, okay, let's do the thing. But I'm not like, oh, what is this? What's I'm not. There's the like the detail is just not there. It's sort of like more fluid sort of motion, um, and not as involving as this.
Cool.
Maybe I can do that someday. I'm just like just coding.
I imagine you'd be like even faster when you.
Um, it's possible. I don't know off the top of my head what that would look like, but yeah, I would assume it would be a little bit more fluid than this for sure. The thing is, my I'm not a super smart person intellect wise. Like I'm not bad. I'm not like the worst, but I'm not like I'm not. But I'm fairly persistent, and and that allows me to complete things where maybe others would stop at some point. And what I've trained myself over time is to try many options. Right. So okay, I go, this didn't work. Okay, let me try this. Let me try this. Let me try this. That process of debugging is a lot faster when I do it off stream because I'm not narrating. I'm not like,
Mm,
and that I'm trying things quicker. And so over here, though, it's like, I'm reading docs quicker. Yeah. So there's that flow is very different.
interesting. That's honestly like very familiar in the design like process as
Hmm.
well. Of like, I mean, that's what I struggled with that first time that I tried to do live design. It just feels like by speaking, I was getting in my own way. If that makes any
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's just the nature of um, um, streaming, right? Like that's just what it is. Now I'm just being silent. Okay. So I have my elements here. Let me see what else I need here. I need this icon. So let's get it. Why did it not? Okay, yeah. So I don't want this. I want this. This contains everything. Let me see if, is it this or this? That's much tighter. I feel like it should be this so that we can have more room and space and doesn't take up. So this is heart mug for me. Components. Whoops. What did I do here? Okay, yeah. Heart mug. And we'll get this pasted here and aligned. And I can go back here and see where HeartMug fits in this scheme of things. So we had this with correct, and now this is just its own kind of thing. So I feel like I could do heart heart mug here. And then if I need to change anything, yeah, let's give it a height. Actually, I need to also remove the fixed height and width so that it will adjust based on the view box that it has. So let's see what that looks like. Things don't look centered here, right? Like, or is it because the mug is a bit off? So things also don't look super centered here, but I actually won't worry about this too much because this stuff might change. I do know that I need more spacing here and maybe some more spacing here. And then I think I'll reduce this size just a little bit. And then that will be enough. 4.2 seems fine. The answer should be central and large, but it's not as large. So maybe I actually don't want to even make it larger. So I'm actually okay to make this just a bit larger than this label here. And then this is fine too. And all I need is some spacing probably here and here. Actually, now this could be a bit smaller. Note how, Mayor, I'm not even looking at any of the font sizes that you put in. I'm just like, what does it feel like? And we'll give this. Yeah, just exactly. And if it's close enough, it's close enough for now.
I think that's entirely fine, especially because when I designed, I used literally the biggest like size there is, so it's probably not accurate to what it should be anyway.
Yeah. I want some more spacing here, and then I do want some more spacing here. So can I just say 52? Can I say 53? Yeah, I can. I can say anything I want, actually, it turns out. Because it'll go up by scale of 4 pixels one way or another. So just a little bit more. Let's just go with the full 60. And is that even happening? Is that spacing even relevant? Like, because I know I'm mixing margin top and margin bottom, and I just, for some reason, it doesn't feel like the margin is really in place at all, to be honest. It's not happening because like none of that was, I'm like changing all these numbers and nothing is changing. And that's because Flex has taken over the spacing of the whole thing. And so I can probably pop this in a div and now, and probably make it padding based. And I think that will, that didn't do what I had thought it would do. So let's just see. Yeah, I mean, maybe my knowledge of SVGs is not that great. And so my assumption is that really it probably doesn't even pick up on the margin business at all. And so I can probably just pad it to be P10. And now I would, if this didn't work, I would be mildly shocked. I guess, one, it seems like it didn't work. And B, I feel like I'm not even, oh no, it did work. I'm not even, I guess I didn't pick a large enough. I was like, I'm not even expressing mild shock even, you know. I feel like I expressed no shock. This should be PT because I don't want the spacing everywhere. And let's come back here. And this seems to be nicer. Could be probably 24 instead. I think that's fine. Maybe less. Okay. And just to make sure that it is working, yeah, padding 80. Okay. So we have some semblance of like, you know, except just the spacing up here needs to be, that's hideous. That was like something feels wrong. This is too tight, and your feelings do guide you when, I mean, a lot of people ignore, I guess, their sense because they might not know explicitly what's wrong, but their heart knows that the spacing is off. And so my heart knows that the spacing is off here. And that's here. And maybe I can just add just a little bit of padding here, not too much, and see how it alters this. Yeah, I mean, that spacing looks nice, nicer at the very least. And actually, I could just probably get away with PY here. So there's just consistent padding above and below, and then whatever comes next comes next. And I think this correct answer is still honestly too large for, like, you know, the answer is more important than the label. And we'll just go with 1.25. And that seems fine. Seems like this coffee cup should be aligned with the answer, but it's not worth it because this answer will be wider, or you know, this whole screen is going to change. So that's good enough for me. And now we have the screen, or some semblance of it. And again, at some point, I'll probably have to revisit the sizing of everything. Okay, but now we come here, and here's where I will just copy paste everything, because all of these elements are the same, only are true. What is this? Whoa. What is this instrument? What's it called?
It's a trumpet.
I was gonna say trumpet, but I was like, it's been a while since I saw a trumpet, and you know, I don't know if there's like is this a mini trumpet? Is it like a?
It's a cartoon trumpet.
It's a cartoon trumpet. Okay. This will just be our trumpet. Oh, I really need to fix my autocomplete because it's showing a lot of things that ought not to. Again, get rid of the hidden width so it's not fixed, and it can be set by CSS. And then back here, let's see. So this would be the correct state, and then this would be the incorrect state. And my assumption is all that's changing in all of those is really the iconage. Everything else remains the same. I'm still going to copy paste for now and not. Oh, am I? No, I am not. I feel like this is actually a good stage to do something like this, where I can say v else, because all of the other states. Hold on, let me just think about this. We're pending over here, right? Because now my logic just shifts. We are pending over here, and here's the question business, and here's the timer. And when we're here, this is reveal answer state, correct and incorrect. And all these three, really in the central div, all that's different is just the icon. So all that div logic should be icon based. So I can get rid of all of this, have a VLs here. Now, obviously, I'm getting errors down here because this stuff needs to go away. But all this stuff is now duplicate, and the only thing that matters is the trumpet. What I mean is the icon. So I can actually get rid of this and this entirely without even like really assessing what was in there. And we're losing our sad flower person, unfortunately. And this becomes my if clause. And this is if answers state is reveal. equals reveal answer, right? And then I can do this for correct and for incorrect, and simply change. And now this is nicer. This was the right time to deduplicate or just refactor, because everything here remains the same. All other states are contained here. And then our buttons will change. The buttons below will be different, but this is a nice separation now. And that's also nicer just from an organizational point of view, that these buttons are not part of this, because then they'd be like multiple levels of ifs in here, which kind of gets, it's fine, but it just kind of gets involved. Okay, so let's get this. Okay, and copy as SVG, and we'll call it crying window. Whoops, what am I doing? Okay, let's try this one more time. Template, please, and paste, and voila. We'll go here, get rid of that, get rid of that. Come back and get our crying window in here, and let's test. It's a lot of code change without any. So incorrect is crying window, and through some animation in the features, and then correct, just this changes, and that's fantastic. Okay, cool. Whoa, maybe I shouldn't look at that just yet, or maybe I will, but I'll just ignore it. And then I just want to go back and see if there's anything specific that I missed here. It doesn't seem like. So we have this screen. This element is not there yet. All these elements are there. All these elements are there, though not pixel perfect, but all of this will change. And as we can see, Mary's sort of playing around with different styles of questions and answers and how they're represented. And all of this will become relevant as we go on. So I think this is a good time for me to commit the changes that I have thus far. So here are my icons. This will be all over the place, but we changed the state. So locked in, even though I didn't remove it, I could have. That was the only reference in the code. But turns out it was a placeholder for reveal answer. And then not too much has changed. Well, much has changed, actually. So not too much has changed here, but over here we refactored, and that's fine. Okay. And this is adding reveal answer state on turn. Okay. What's next? And I'm thinking, we start trying to look at this timer and seeing what we can do. So my first thought for the timer is just numbers. I'm just going to have numbers here. There's going to be a countdown. It's going to be fixed for every question for now. And then slowly we'll add more. So the first step is just from a functionality point of view. When we get into pending, when we have to answer, when the turn is pending, we have a timer. It's counting down. When it counts down, I guess we just stay here. So there is, I guess, one state when the timer's expired, but we're still here because the teacher has to verbally ask the student to give an answer. And once the answer is given, then the teacher will click reveal answer. So maybe there can be some fun icon here that indicates like time's up. Spill the answer, spill it. What's the name of the next kid? My mouse is acting weird, but spill the answer, Grover. just something mean, I think, or not mean, but just urgent.
Put on the pressure.
Yeah, something like just what's going on, like
Student
um,
already.
yeah, something demeaning. Sorry.
You had so
Uh,
much time.
yeah, like what are you doing? What is this? Are you really in grade 6? Oh my god. Okay,
Oh my
that's
god.
sorry. Okay, we're not gonna do that. We'll be nice. Okay, so I'm just stalling, so I kind of get my head around what I need to do. And so yeah, so it times out, but no state changes on timeout. Apart from the visualization here will change. And then I haven't really worked with sort of motion in a while. And so I'll need to relearn how to properly get this moving as the time goes on. Okay. So it's that pending state that I want to get into, which is here. And I can just have maybe a span or something, nothing too drastic. And all this will say is timer goes here. So just starting with a simple placeholder, so I know that I'm in the right place in the code itself. This looks nice. This is a nice looking app. Okay, so let's bring this to the right place. And so this becomes flex call, and everything is centered. So that's actually not what we want ultimately. We want justify between because we want this portion to be on top and this portion to be on bottom, although I guess it's decided not to do that. Let's see, flex call, just item center. Is this flipped in when we go column in flex? Are those two flipped? I think so, because these do not seem justified between. So can I say justify center? And what will this do? And can I say items? What's available to me here? It's not between, so that's not true. So this should justify between, right? Let's see items end here just so I can. I'm not on the right screen. I'm just saying. No, I am. So the problem, I know what the issue is. See, this is like simple stuff. I look like an amateur now, but it's because this div is not taking the full space within this div. So it is justified between justify end. That justify end helped me debug that, right? And all that means is this should be H full and W full within its context here, I believe. That's not enough either. So maybe it has to go up the chain. So that's that. And this div also is limited, and this is also limited. So really all of these should take up full space. One thing I would like, let's see if this does it. Is this, my eyes are a bit blurry today, and this is not, that legibility of that is really weird. So if I did this, so where is this element? Question index line 140. Question ID index line 140. So I'm on question ID index, and will line 140 get me to that line? Is this it? So here, it is. So this is the whole thing. So we should be able to say H full, W full here, right? Like there's no reason why this shouldn't be the full context. So now when we say center, it truly is centered. Whereas before everything was just happening up here based on the size of this. And now now it's sort of much simpler for me to go down the chain. This will modify the other states as well. So we'll take a look in a second. But this should also be W full, H full. And now it's acting as I expect, because this is the spacing that I would have expected from the start, but I didn't have the proper context of what was going on, because our timer should be in like this region here. And I'm going to give this some class, mostly just changing the text size. And I'm going to kind of revert to default text sizes here. This is my preference. And sometime later, I'm going to go in and create proper sizes for the sizes that we do have. And let's just add some padding here. Just give this some breathing room. It needs more. Yeah, that's better. And now I can just have something that counts down. So I'm just thinking what I named the variable. It could just be, it could just be simplest timer. I'm just going to say timer countdown is what I'll call the variable itself. And then in the script here, this is actually just all that I wanted to start with. Is never red. That's not true. It's red over here. It's not red over there. This is the variable, which is red from here. Okay, great. So now we have just this 10, but it should be larger. Just for now, because all we care about is functionality. So, okay. More, I'm like more cowbell. Okay, that's better. And this is just for me for now. This is not, what it'll be. So now I need something to trigger a countdown. And then I need to stop the countdown once it gets to 0. And so I'm just trying to get a context of this page, because technically all of this happens. Well, you know what? Let me not stall. Let me just do it, and then we'll see. So we're going to just set an interval that happens every second, right off the bat. That so this will stop at 0, and then can I do else and stop that timer interval? Does it know? Yeah. So it's also trying to change the state. I don't want to change the state. I just want to clear the interval once I've reached the end of the timer. So that's not running. And now we do have a countdown. Cool. For now, I'm going to leave this here. And, well, no, I won't. I will make this 45 seconds and not 90, just so we don't have to wait that long. But obviously in testing, I'm just going to readjust it. Everything else here looks fine. I was a little bit concerned about what the W full and H full would do to the next pages. So this looks fine. Let's look at incorrect. That looks fine. Reveal answer correct. All of this looks fine. So really, we can now come back here and focus on this. When we get to 0, well, I guess we don't have to worry too much about when we get to 0. I can simply over here do something super simple and say something like, I'll just accept whatever it is. I'll just, no, v-if timer countdown is less than or equal to 0, then whatever this is, and let's see what it says, time's up. That's what I wanted. All the knowledge of human history giving me a time's up autocomplete. You love to see it. And let's change this to 2, just so I can come back and test quickly. Yeah, let's go ahead and fix that. Um, just trying to think what I want to do. What I really want is a div. I want this to be outside. I want this to have a class, and we're just going to flex our way down and see something like this. That's good enough for me for now. Yeah, so this py16 should actually go here because we don't want this spacing over here, and this can just be something like MB6 even, that's fine. And now we're not tied against this area here, and this is just times up, 0 times up, that's fine. Okay, so I'm good to commit here just so we have some kind of sense of a timer, a functioning timer. Technically, this game is fairly playable now, right? Like, we have the usability here. We can mark and do all of that. So some of the next stuff I will do right away or right after this is storing the timer and seeing like how many seconds were used. How many seconds were used is what we want. And then later this might get a little bit complicated where different types of questions might have varying time. So we might need to have like, I don't know, some accommodation for what speed really means, because it won't be as fair. But we'll just start off by storing a few things, maybe the starting timer, the time taken, and time taken, right? Total time and time taken. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm happy to commit this here and say, what is this? Okay, sorry. Adding basic timer.
Why are you apologizing?
To whom? Me apologize?
I just heard you say sorry.
I think my screen messed up. Like some stuff came up on my screen, and then I was like, yeah, okay, yeah. Just I displayed something on a screen that I didn't intend to, and I was just like, oh, sorry to whomever is seeing this, having to deal with my because I'm pressing keys really fast sometimes, and the wrong thing happens as a result.
How do you decide when to, like, how much to commit each time?
It differs. A lot of it is like, hey, is this consistent functionality? Where my instinct was, hey, this is a playable, like I've done enough and I've added some timer functionality that is useful. So if potentially somebody said, okay, we're done, we're not making any more new features, this would actually work. You know what I mean? Like this is fully functional. And that's sometimes you could still go lower level and still do other chunks as well. But to me, it's like, hey, have I built something functioning? And am I happy with that? But sometimes what'll happen is sometimes I'll get into the rhythm and I'm like, feature, and I don't commit like 30 features. And then I commit 30 features all at once. So that happens as well, depending on the rhythm I'm working in. But probably because I'm on stream, I'm like, people are watching this. I should be better at committing in discrete chunks.
Interesting. Has that, like, are there pros and cons of, I guess, bundling more things together versus smaller pieces?
Yeah, because it's nice to have discrete functions in commit groups or in individual commit or in commit groups. And that's because if you ever need to revert code, you can revert one of those functions or features without reverting everything all at once. Because if everything is in one commit, it becomes harder to revert that commit. You have to manually adjust and take out the code. Whereas if it's discrete, you can revert a specific change. So if I reverted this commit, all it would do is get rid of the timer and adjust the spacing here. It also makes it easier to find bugs sometimes, which is if you introduced a bug in a certain commit, Git has a feature called Git bisect. And you start it, and then you give it sort of a working commit, and you give it a broken commit. And it tries to, like, because now you don't have to go commit by commit. It kind of bounces up and down until we find the commit that actually has the bug. So you say, yeah, this is a good version. This is a good commit. This is the commit that has a bug. And now it gives you something kind of in between. It'll give you a commit in between, and then you mark that commit. Oh, this is good. Then it knows, oh, it kind of, it reduces the range of good and bad commits until you find the commit that broke it. And then once you find it, you don't want to be like, there's like 300,000 lines in this commit. Which line broke it? I don't know. Whereas if there's a more discrete commit, it's, oh, this specific thing broke it. Yeah, so I got times up. What do I need to do next? I feel like I want to store it, because once this is stored, I feel like I can also just deal with the visual. And then storing it would also give me functionality for when the game ends to do things like show how much or how fast every person was. So I'll do a few things. One is when we create turns, let's take a look here. So here we're creating turns in the back end. And okay, all of those are being inserted into the database here. What I want to do is have something like allotted time and then taken time, right? Allotted time will be part of each turn. And maybe I'm making a larger assumption here, but my assumption is potentially that, we'll modify this based on the actual question template. We'll say this kind of template requires this much time. And so I need to make changes to the database. And for me, I'm not gonna make incremental database changes at this state, because I'm not tied to the data that I have amassed so far through testing. I can just delete my entire database and remigrate up. So where we have create turns, now I know that I want something like an integer, and then I want allotted time. Is allotted the right word? And taken time. Or time allotted. Am I spelling it right? Who knows? And time taken. Time taken sounds better than taken time. And I could give these defaults. I'll default this to 30 seconds, and time taken can start at 0. This is not very meaningful per se, but it's good enough for now. And then I can come over here and, just trying to remind myself what my database was. I think it is development.sqlite. I have to go back here and restart my server. Actually, did that generate a new file? I should migrate to latest first. Make sure things got created. So I do see my database. And now I can start my server back up. And so now I have these fields. I do have to add them to my type. So that's the next step. And it's in the turn table. And right at the bottom here, I can say time allotted and time taken. I feel like I need to add that. Do I need to add this elsewhere? I do have duplicated types. So there's one type here, and this file's not even being used anymore. If I say type turn, I will probably find something, in the front end. And I'm just happy to duplicate this for now, and we'll leave adjusting that for later. This doesn't like it because it still wants this is functional, right? So I added those fields, and that's causing some upheaval here because they need to be set. So I'm okay by doing 30 minutes, sorry, 30 seconds to start, and now I have to recreate my game because I lost everything, and this will now be game ID 1 because all that data is gone. And my next step is to hook this time allotted up to the visual representation of the time. So we'll go to a countdown, and this value should come from the turn. So let's see where that's happening. So I'm just taking a second to think. So I said sorry again, like a loser. I'm just taking a second to think where turn is being set. And that's over, these are turns. And when turns get set in my state file, I have turn is a computed value. When this happens, when turn changes, I want this timer countdown to be reset. When turn changes, I want this timer to be reset. So it seems like I want to watch on turn and reset the value, right? So what if I comment this? Watch the turn ref and set the timer countdown. Perfect. Let's see if it does it. So it's saying watch turn, and if new turn answer state is pending, I think just even when it changes, right? Not necessarily if it's pending. I don't think that's necessarily the, if I say old turn, and then I say here, let's say if old turn and new, so if there is an old turn and new turn, and old turn dot, I want to say ID is not equal to the new turn's ID, then I want new turn time allotted to be set. Otherwise, nothing. That's just it. These are my conditions. Here I've set this to 2, but I think when we start the round, I'm curious what will happen. But before I get there, this is not good. So let's adjust here. Yeah, I'm okay to put all of this into a span. I'll style it later. But for now, I do want things looking good. I don't want justify between. What is this? Just, just start simple, please. So I do want this. I don't want justify between. Just that is good enough. And then I do want some gap, and I think it was a gap of 1.5 that seemed pleasant to the eyes. And that's good. Start round. So when start round happens, so my logic wasn't good, right? When start round happens, I actually don't care whether an old turn exists. I care whether a new turn exists. And let me just find my spot here. Now, in this case, when the game started, the old turn didn't exist, so my instinct was incorrect. And here I can just say this. And this will be null, and null is not equal to a set value. And that's good enough. I should probably just create a new game so I can test that flow. Start round 1. So it's not what I expected. I expected this to have been set. Now, what I'll do, just so I understand things are working properly, is even just up here, right in the, like here even, honestly, I'm just going to take this and, oh, not that, actually, this is pre, and just get the turn data in here, right? So I can see whether the values are correct. There's other ways of me doing it. I can debug it properly and whatever, but sometimes it's just quit. So this information is coming in through the database properly. So that's the first step I wanted to check. Now I want to see why on a refresh, presumably it should work, but there is in watch, you can ask it to start immediately, and that might be the case where the initial state is all set when we go, and that is the case. So if I refresh now, I expect 30. It's very smooth and clean, and that's coming from the database. And now I want to track, when I click reveal answer right now, nothing is happening on the back end yet. But now, both time taken, so when the timer hits 0, I need to store how much time was taken. And then when the teacher hits reveal answer, I need to store how much time was taken. So, I mean, I'm actually thinking it's easier to store time remaining than it is time taken. So, because then the math can happen later. I don't necessarily need to do the math now. So I'm actually going to say time remaining. And also just default it to the same number. So now I can go back to the places where I have time allotted and make sure that this is adjusted. And this value will be whatever that value is. So it's hard-coded for now, but this will be in a variable coming in from the question template at some point in the future. So now I just need to store, I just need to send to the backend the value in the countdown, and that will be the value that gets stored, which is somewhat simpler to do, and we're delegating any complex mathematics to a future state, which we would have to do anyway, I think. No, we wouldn't. But it doesn't matter. This is easier for me right now. I don't want to do any math in the front end. I'm slightly questioning myself. Because if I wanted to do database-based math, typically I am caring about, also this is wrong. I have to change this in a bunch of places. So let me just step back. I can do math because I can send the time countdown from the server and just do the math on the back end. So we will revert to what this was before. So it still is time taken. I feel like if I ever want to pull averages or whatever, it'll be less work on the database side to typically time taken average is what I care about. And if I have to do math anyway, then I have to do math. So no biggie. I think this is fine. So we're not going to change anything. And I believe that's all I had changed, and that's fine. We just now need to be concerned about sending the timer countdown to so set time remaining. So this is timer countdown is essentially time remaining for all intents and purposes. And when we reveal answer here, this is now this can actually just be a reveal answer function. Which will do a few things. It's going to set the answer state to reveal answer. And then it's going to send this data to the backend for this particular turn. So I'll just pump it here, function reveal answer. And at first step, all it's going to do is change the state. And then we will need a mutation on the backend. Great. So we have a mutation here, which is nice. I'll just copy this entire function for now, and then we can figure things out later. Set time remaining. So we're going to send time remaining to the server either way. So it doesn't matter. And then here, I can also say set time remaining. And game ID, round number, turn number, which will help us identify the turn. And then time remaining is simply timer countdown, the value, whatever it is at that stage. Do I need to send player ID? Why am I sending player ID and set answer state? What's player ID doing here? Player ID is not doing anything. Oh, no, it is. It is. When the answer state is incorrect. Oh, I added this later, right? So when the answer state is incorrect, I need to mark that player as inactive. But just so I have my bearings with me again, let's take a look at create turn. And this does have a player ID, so it doesn't seem necessary. So what's happening here? We find the turn based on these values. I mean, technically, we have a turn ID, so we don't have to do all of this business. But I think I started off in a different place when I was doing this. So I'm just going to stick with this pattern for now, because if I start questioning or changing this, that could be a rabbit hole. So let's keep it simple, just focus and store the time, and just we'll take a mental note of this potentially for the future. Okay, so I have a turn. That turn will give, like, these three things will find the turn. That'll give me enough information to set the time remaining. So I don't need player ID here. It'll return the turn, but I don't really need that either. No state is changing here. I guess I could do this. I could keep it, but no state is changing. Might as well reload the game. Nothing drastic is going to happen here. And if it does, I guess we'll find out right away. So we'll go here, and I'll give a space to set time remaining. And I've just copied the previous function. I don't need these. I need time remaining. And here's where I find the turn. And then here I can calculate time taken is equal to time allotted minus time remaining. Perfect. And then we update turns and we set time taken, perfect, where the turn ID matches. And then nothing else needs to change. So this is a much simpler function. And we can still, a much simpler function. None of this needs to happen. This is adjusting for the case where all rounds everyone in that round is incorrect. And we can get the turn and return the updated turn, no problem. But we're not doing anything with the turn here, it turns out. Pun intended. And then we'll, yeah, so in reveal answer, I can set the reveal answer state, and I can also call set time remaining, which will just, I don't have to pass in any data, it'll just get it from the timer countdown. I'm just thinking here, when this happens, I will also need to, I'm thinking about a few things. Right now I'm doing seconds. And I feel like this should be faster than seconds. I won't do it now, but I feel like it should be, just to make it feel more competitive. But unnecessary for now. And then when this happens, right, so I need to clear timer interval when reveal answer is set as well. So that's the first thing I should do. Clear the timer so that the timer no longer is adjusted. And set time remaining. And then here, once we get to a 0 level, I also want to not reveal answer, very close. I want to set time remaining on the back end. Okay. And now this will give us time taken data and store it. Now, this is interesting because you could be wrong on every question and take pretty much 1 second to answer all of them. So what is the meaning of life, really? Let me open up this, go to the network tab, because I expect when I click this button here, I expect to see set time remaining, send over the time remaining, right? And I expect to see the data come back and see the time remaining here. And then when get game and get turns happens, this is the first turn in the first round. And this turn data should also have the correct time remaining or time taken. And the rest of them should be zeros. Perfect. Let's test that for, well, I guess, yeah, time taken, right? So let's wait the whole 30 seconds, you and I, as I sip this coffee.
How's that croissant?
It's in this. There's, first of all, I have two. Okay, this is one of them.
Small ones.
Okay. Yeah, and this is the other one. I could have shown you the same croissant twice, and you have no way of knowing. Okay, and that's just the magic of television. Sorry, I don't know what I'm doing. So here, time taken should be the full 30 seconds. For this second question, I just realized, though, that I'm not sending any data back. So let me check the data coming in from the second question. Sorry, this is players, not turns. I want turns, which is here. And the second turn should be the full 30 seconds. Perfect. This turn should still be 15 seconds. It's not. That's what we call in the business a bug, I think. What's going on? Am I reading things properly? This is turn 0. time taken is 30. That should not be the case. This is turn 1. Time taken is 30. That should be the case. And then this should be 0. So somewhere it seems like we must have sent a time remaining to the wrong turn ID, wrong turn number. So let's just refresh and test the flow with the network stuff showing. Okay, so we sent time remaining of 21 seconds. And we got to turn back, and this should be what, 9 seconds or something? Time taken 9 seconds for turn number 2, which is wrong. This should be turn number 3, which is why we had the issue that we had. So why? Hold on. No. That doesn't make sense. Oh, no, it does make sense, I think. Because at the time I did the checking, what's happening is when I think this is what happened. I'm not sure. But when I refresh the page, I'm still on turn 2 because I never marked it correct or incorrect. So I was never on turn 3. So that's not the right debugging pattern here. If I refresh this, like the reveal answer gets kind of reset. And now if I click this again, I'm sending a new time back. So what I'll do is I'll go through like 5 questions at different times, and I expect the first 5 to have different, or 3 might be good enough, and at least that'll give me a quick idea of whether this is working as it ought to. So we will start the round, and then 1, 2, 3, set, correct. Okay, next up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, set, incorrect. And then this is number 3. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Why not? Just setting some distance. And now we should have 3 different players up front having 3 different times. That's what I care about. And obviously, like, we could do things like show display somewhere or something. I mean, just even for debugging purposes, like I probably should have done that. 3 seconds for player number 1. So it didn't get overwritten. About 6, 7 seconds for number 2, and should be about 11 or something, 12. And then this player should be just the 0. So it was working. Where I got confused in the user interfaces, I'm sending that time back when I click reveal answer. But when I refresh and then click reveal answer again, I'm updating the same user. Okay. So now I'm sending the time back, albeit with mild confusion on the front end of who that time belongs to. And the swap file should not be here. That's weird. Why is the swap file here? Let's just get rid of it and hope everything is fine. So I have added a watch for the timer so that when the turn changes, the timer changes. And this works for the first turn, which I didn't account initially. When the timer runs out, I'm setting the timer. I'm sending the time back. When we reveal the answer, I'm sending the time back and clearing the timer. Good. And this is the function to send the timer back. And that's really all we've done on the front end here. This was just some alignment of the text. Here we changed the database to add these fields, added them on the types, backend API endpoint to will both have store starting time and then set the time remaining. And then some more types on the front end. So store time taken. Cool. How are we doing for time taken on this stream? 1 hour, 40 minutes. Let's see if, oh, hello.
Hello.
I heard some clicking. So that I'm expecting now that, because I'm assuming you were on mute, and when I saw the clicking, I heard the clicking sounds, I thought you were going to chime in.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm making some good progress on the design side. So I'm wondering, yeah, like, do we want to?
Are you wondering, or are you now taking control of the situation? Is this a question,
No,
Mary,
just...
or is this an order that I must follow?
Well, one, how are you doing? Because I know you said that you were feeling a little tired today.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. I'm happy with the progress made thus far. The next thing I would have started is probably some representation of a timer, like a simple timer, just reducing in size here. But I'm happy to, or I'm being ordered to shift the focus here, and we can transfer to Mary and see what more work she has created for me. And yeah, let's absolutely do that.
Cool. I did not finish everything. I mean, it's never finished. So, so I will share my screen. Is that a different mug?
Yeah, this is the water mug.
Oh, okay.
And I have a coffee mug and a water. I'm prepared, and I have some honey.
Nice. How do you like
Because
the honey?
plain, just direct into my mouth. So.
Okay, here we go. First of all, I was gonna apologize for the mess, and then I was like, "What am I apologizing for?"
Yeah, who are you apologizing to?
But I guess more as a FYI, I work a little bit chaotically. Sometimes I go like left to right, and sometimes I go like more vertically. So in this case, I'm going down vertically. The first thing that I did, I'm just gonna zoom in here. I'm calling this stress test. This is a Figma feature that I actually quite like nowadays. It's called section. Um, and what's great about it is if I am ever sharing a specific section on Figma, I can just copy the link to the specific place so that you don't have to be like, where is it on this infinite canvas? So stress test is basically me pulling out some of the questions from the resources that we started with. So this is a word problem. I added a comment here so that I would remember. This is a note from past Mary to future me. Should font size? Yeah, I guess what I'm saying here is like,
Yeah.
how do we think about like font sizing? Yeah, like my thinking was like, okay, like maybe we say minimum however many lines. I'm not sure if that's a thing you can do with CSS. And alternatively, maybe just setting a minimum and max size.
Yeah, I think definitely in the future we can look at adjusting the font based on how many words that you have there, the font size, and I think that's good enough as a starting point. If you're like dumping in a lot of words in here, like what are you even doing as a teacher? Like stop, please.
True.
So it's just I don't think we need to protect anyone from that yet.
Yeah, maybe like we have to set, I guess, max character limit on the back end. And then this is like an example of an answer screen
Yeah.
for a word problem. I think similarly, we probably want to minimize it to however many lines, whether it's through character count or else other methods. I also try to
Ooh.
create
Ah.
uh, to create one question with like a visual component. I'm thinking it should be because I tried a couple of things. So initially I was like, this kind of look weird.
Yeah. Legibility wise, yeah.
um, so I'm going with
Ca
like,
can you do me a favor, man? Can you go back up to the larger word question? I want to see how that was justified. So this is sent. This is um, centered, and the other one is not. What would it look like if it was justified the same? Like this is right, left justified.
I think with some more space,
Yeah,
it could be
yeah.
better.
I actually like this because it's
Yeah, it's easier to
um,
read for sure.
yeah, yeah. And it again, it looks more familiar. Like
Yeah,
in a test scenario, you wouldn't see like centered text. So
I'm down with that.
um, yeah, I guess we'll just have to see where this is only relevant when there's overflow, right? If there's no overflow, it could be centered. You're just if
Mm,
it's something super short, it can be centered. But if there's some overflow, then I feel like it's making more sense to,
yeah.
um, and that's fine. Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Okay. Yeah. What about here?
Let's see. I like it for consistency, which is to say, hey, if there's overflow, it's gonna
Yeah.
be left justified. If there's no overflow, it's gonna be centered. I actually don't even know how to do that in CSS, and I guess we'll learn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like it too. I yeah. Originally, I didn't try it with the padding, and it looked strange. But I think with
Hmm.
the padding, it's actually pretty
Yeah,
good, and
yeah.
it is way more easier to read when it's left centered. Okay. And then, fun fact, I tried to. So I took this question from the, I guess the resources, like one of the images, and I tried to recreate this particular visual with ChatGPT. It did not.
Oh,
It was not having it. It
oh
took me like
no.
10 minutes to get this,
Do
and
you have some of the rejects? Is it? Do you have?
yes.
Can we see what the frustration or the joy that you went through?
Okay, let me open it and just make sure I don't have any other
That's
weird
funny.
thing showing.
You could cut it. You could screenshot paste into Figma.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm just gonna share my screen because
Okay.
the scroll is kind of fun.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
replace screen, ChatGPT. Well, I guess first of all, I started the conversation with one of the one of the word problems because
Mm.
I realized that the resources we received don't actually have the answers. At least I didn't see it, and I was like, I don't know the answer. So I had to ask
That's
ChatGPT
funny.
to solve for
Yeah.
it, to put in the answer.
Yeah.
And then I took a screenshot of the image. So this is the question. You will, I guess, note that you can't actually see where the A and the B and the C and the D.
Hmm.
So I think that's where the challenge comes from. Also, I think the question is incorrect because it's comparing ABC and ABC. So I think it's supposed to be ABC versus BCDE.
Okay.
So that also contributed to the struggle. So this is the first, the first image.
So good.
Yeah. And I said that is not the right image.
So good.
And then I realized that the question doesn't seem right either. And then I was trying to explain what the question is. So the ABC is supposed to create a triangle, and the BCD is supposed to create another. And it still cannot do it.
This is so cool. Like this is what I feel like. You know what doesn't get talked about enough, Mary? This kind of thing where people are like, ChatGPT just released this function. Here's what you need to. Here's 5 new things you need to know that'll change your life. And you're here as a teacher, just trying to be like, hey, yo, bro, like, just recreate this image for me. Simple image appears,
yeah, literally
you know,
trace it.
yeah, hundreds of thousands of times.
Yeah.
But even if ChatGPT can't trace, it can find this pattern which exists in so many tests.
Yeah.
So it must be in your data set, and you can't reproduce it. And you're like, okay, well, I could have probably said this, like done this in Figma in 1 minute, and I've spent 5 minutes trying to wrestle with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
What's my life?
Also, I don't know where the best image disappeared to. I'm like, where is it? Like the one that I ended up with. I don't see it
Oh,
anymore.
so you did use it from.
I did. Like the one
Okay.
that I ended up using is from ChatGPT, and
Mhm.
I thought ChatGPT did a good job of rephrasing the question, because I was like, this question is phrased
Yeah.
kind of poorly in my in my opinion. I'm just like shitting on whoever created that question.
Yeah.
And I think it did a good job of rephrasing the question itself.
Can you do me a favor, Mary? If you scroll up to where the fraction was set, and if you can copy paste that fraction into the chat box below. So that 52/2, yeah. You can copy the whole thing, maybe the whole line, perhaps.
Like this?
Yeah, and just copy paste it into the Ask Anything box to see.
Oh.
Maybe it won't work there. Maybe there's another place you can paste to somewhere where we might see its text representation. This is what I was talking about sometimes, where this kind of stuff happens. And I'll try the same thing as you're doing. Can you do me another favor, please? Can you, in the private chat, just copy paste? No, I can do that. I have it. I have the question. I just wanted the question. It's in Figma.
What are you trying to test?
What language it uses for, whether it has a special representation or is it just using pure HTML. It seems like in that case above, it was using HTML. So, but that's fine. I'm asking, I have a different interface. I use Raycast AI things, but it's doing it a bit differently. It's not showing me fractions. So I specifically asked it to show me fractions. And now it has. So I'm going to copy this, paste it. Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay.
What did you discover?
And here, maybe I can paste this in the Figma so you can kind of see, even though I'll kind of end up breaking something. Oh, no, I can't because I don't have access. I'll paste it in our private chat here so you can see what that looks like. And that's 1/2. So that's the language template representation for 1/2. I'm not sure what language that is. So let me just ask ChatGPT. Or not ChatGPT, chat something. It's LaTeX. It is LaTeX. So yeah, LaTeX is, I feel like, a fairly standard mechanism to represent this. And then there are LaTeX, I guess, engines that will produce maybe HTML or some other format for that language into that. So that's something I'll probably take a look into and then see, what it does to the fonts or whatever. I'm assuming if that is does LaTeX have its own fonting font styling as well, or can I apply the font style to the end result? I don't know.
Hmm. Um, oh, but going back to the mockups,
Sorry. Yes.
also note that even though I've said many times that CD is supposed to be parallel to AB, they are not parallel.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So try to look past
And
the
which
visual.
is here's the problem with this, which is like, and this is why I'm not enthused about this notion of like, oh, we can just kind of close our eyes and leverage AI to generate questions or do this kind of thing, because we can't, unfortunately. It's not good enough yet.
Yeah.
At some point, it might be, but this because, and especially because once we have a template, these things are deterministic, right? And because AI is fairly non-deterministic, like why would you ask AI, which is a fundamentally non-deterministic system, to do actions that are like deterministic?
Yeah.
It's whereas like rephrasing this question is a fairly non-deterministic thing. Like, you ask 10 people to rephrase a question, you might get 10 different answers. You ask 10 different people 1 plus 1, you might get 10 different answers, but they're only a few of them are going to be correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my rant for today.
I mean, it's now you're like inciting my rant.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Let's hear it.
like like have you heard about the news from Duolingo?
The news is this in the news? Am I?
Okay.
I'm not up with the news. I have been napping
Um,
all day.
well, they have, I guess, shared, I guess, their stance on going AI first, which I think
Oh,
in theory is, great, power to them. But I think where it really start to fall apart is like Duolingo is a learning app, and when you are learning a language, like like for example, you are hearing a phrase and being like, oh, like, what is it that I heard? There can only be one answer,
yeah,
and yeah, I think I've also started seeing some users on subreddits talking about how like they are like they are starting to be like shitty content on Duolingo,
yeah,
both in terms of like what they're teaching, but also like just wrong answers,
yeah.
or like wrong
Exactly.
translations. Uh, that it's like why are we using this on like this specific use case? Like there are many other use cases that like power to them.
What I love about this also from a product management perspective is like fundamentally the users did not ask for AI generated answers and questions, right? Like this is something that is being driven top down because you feel like you need to be on this train.
Yeah,
And but what's amazing to me is, did you not use the product before you released it? Like, because like why is this feedback coming from users?
yeah,
And why did you release it if, like, in a teaching app, seems to be very important?
yeah,
And so to me that's absolutely baffling. Like, and it's I feel like it's the tech world, for all its sort of claims to rationality and like data driven whateverness, is kind of drunk on things like Web 3.0 or AI. Like it's a drunkard's walk towards whatever functionality that you want to build, and users be damned.
yeah. It's
That's
like,
amazing to me.
yeah, it's like having a chainsaw and being like, what can I use this for? How
And
about
it's a non-deterministic
yeah,
chainsaw. Like when you swing it, you don't even know what it's
yeah,
gonna cut. You're like, it's a randomized chainsaw.
yeah.
You ask this chainsaw how many R's in strawberry, and it says 2. So anyway, yeah, that's AI these days.
Like one thing that I really did not like was like I think their CEO or whoever it was that posted that stance was like we'd rather move with urgency and take occasional hits on quality. then move slowly and miss the moment. It's like, what moment? Like other than the moment to like brag to investors.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not, again, yeah. Like, yeah, it's top down driven. It's like there's something, it shows organizational sort of breakdown to me versus sort of this missing the moment horseshit
Yeah.
that the CEOs say.
But also, like, isn't quality why people are there?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, isn't that like, yeah, I don't know. Also, but I don't know whether it was broadly, was this feature broadly released or was it,
It's
um,
everywhere. Like, if you have.
okay.
So I've used Duolingo like way back in the days and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then I think I just fell off the wagon somehow. I don't remember why. But last year I started using it again because I was like, I want to learn French, and I don't know. There are reasons that I'm not gonna get into, but I was like, I want to learn French, and I started using Duolingo again, and I noticed that it's so much more trashy. I guess is the
Yeah.
best way to put
Yeah.
it. Like
Yeah.
it's like somebody is constantly shoving something in front of me, and I'm like, no, I just can I please just learn a little bit, you know?
I'm definitely product wise not willing to trade correctness for coolness. And it seems like it's cool right now, but I'm happy to miss that train. Like, I'm happy I missed the Web3 train, let's just say. Like, and am I, do I feel deficient in my life? No, I don't have I never owned one of those monkeys.
Okay,
Jeez. All right,
rants over.
sorry. Okay, yeah.
What was I even saying? Okay, left, yeah, left to right arrangement with the left aligned text. And then the correct answer. I was kind of impressed that this font has triangle symbol.
Hmm.
I don't think this font does, or maybe that is what the triangle looks like. But I wanted to like test what kind of text symbols can be accommodated by
Right.
some of the fonts. Okay, I'm gonna try to wrap it up quicker. We go down to the bottom. This is where I started fleshing out more
Oh.
of the screens. So as I started building this, I was actually going from like this page and working backwards. So I was like, what does the round overview look like? Um, this is kind of where I landed. So just
Cool.
showing what the players look like. I thought it could be cool for like the first round to just have the edit player here, so that it's not like if they input the player names perfectly, they don't have to like confirm it and then start a game. Um,
Um, okay, I will need to double check what it is because in the back end at some point you don't get to edit when the players have been created on the back end. And that happens at some point in the process. That's fine. I mean, this is okay. There's no reason why that should cause any issues here, though.
okay, yeah, I think the alternative that I was thinking but did not create anything for is having like a intermediate screen that shows the list of names,
Hmm.
um, and then going here and starting the round.
That actually be easier for me technically, is because of the way the data is stored.
Okay.
If it's not that big a deal, um, that would, I mean, again, it's not a big deal either way, but if it's super simple for you to sort of have
Yeah.
just a are you sure view kind of with the players, which maybe does take full screen or something, like if you had a larger list of players, then that can be displayed in the sidebar. Then we can actually just have rows of players on the
Question.
confirm screen. Hmm.
Question. What's the purpose of previewing, like, I guess, confirming the list of players?
That's a good point. So like theoretically, yeah, enter them. It would be like if you spell somebody's name incorrectly or something. You want to just take a look and
Okay, so like a
um,
read-only view of what they entered, essentially.
yeah, a read-only view for the entered, and almost like a kind of entering the game screen as well. But I mean, I'm happy to try out either way
Okay,
from a
just
technical. Like I'm
more
happy to change up the
flexibility.
database or whatever.
Okay, cool. I can modify that. Um, so that aside, there's like the round overview, which says first up, whoever
Hmm.
is the first one. I really like this, and I almost feel bad for everyone else because they're not gonna get the same like
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
like center stage effect. Um,
Um, you will if Lewis gets eliminated, then Adnan in this case gets that in the next round, right?
yeah, I guess so. Um, and then like I also fleshed out what I guess after the first round could look like. Oh, I don't think I added. There's supposed to be some information about how many players still remain.
Mm,
Like, I don't know,
cool. Yeah, yeah.
7 of 14 remain. I don't know. We can figure that
Yeah.
out. And then the rest is just me using that one question to see like
Yeah.
how the rest of the pages can look like.
No, that looks great. I can definitely. Um, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry. First, but do you have more? Is this? Are we sort of in
Nope,
the?
this is it. This is all
Okay,
I've
awesome.
completed.
What I will do, I think. So yeah, I mean, definitely there's a bunch of reworking for us to do on the front end in order to accommodate this flow. Um, and then I'll still kind of follow the case where I work on some parts of the timer. I might not fully fledge it out before I move on to getting some of these other elements that you've added in place. Because here, like I was just kind of eyeballing the spacing and the sizing, and now I feel like it's a bit more concrete for me to get into and really give it the time that it should take. And so first, I guess I'll work on the timer next in terms of getting some better visual representation of the timer, and we can start seeing how it feels, right? Like because that's one of these elements
Yeah.
that we haven't assessed yet, and maybe there's some reworking to be done, or
Yep.
we'll learn something. And then yeah, and then after that, I'll start on the
Yeah. On the
other
timer,
screens.
I really want to try like just a quick round of drawful because I really like their like how they do timers.
Okay.
So maybe I guess we'll chat about how to make that happen.
Wait, so tomorrow's Friday, right?
It is Friday.
So we're just in time to play Drawful tomorrow.
What is this logic?
I don't know. I'm just saying because the logic is Friday. Ideally, the both of us are supposed to be there. Like in a
Yes.
in between session, it might be either or it's sort of dependent on timing. But on the Friday, we can be like, hey, we can say like let's try the both of us to be there, of course, and then we can play Drawful as part of sort of tomorrow's whatever we're gonna do.
I think last time I said this, you did not like it, but I think it's a
What?
game that I think it's a game that benefit from more people.
Oh, I see. Why wouldn't I like it? I just the effort. I like it. I like it. We just have to find more people. I only have one friend. It's you. Okay. So to find friends at short notice seems like a large task.
Yeah, on short notice is
I
hard.
have to get to know people first. I have to build memories with them.
Find them first.
Yeah,
Post
find them.
post on LinkedIn and just be like
I need
anybody.
friends. I already did that. I don't know if you noticed. I did not get a great response. But yeah, maybe. Um,
Maybe
yeah.
we
I mean,
aim for like, I don't know, the like at some point.
but do you have friends
Probably
for tomorrow? Do you have tomorrow level friends?
uh I don't know, maybe.
Okay, maybe we can convince some people. Let's see. And
Yeah.
if we can't, that's fine. We'll skip it. But if we can, then also, what are they going to do for the rest of the time? Are we just gonna, play the
Kick them
game
out. No, I'm kidding.
and then yeah, we can kick them out.
I
Okay,
mean, like,
let's see.
if they just want to
Let's see.
be here for the fun part.
Speaking of friendship, I have
Not
suggested.
that this is not fun.
No, I hear you. No, this is not. I just want to say this is not the fun part. I get it. Um, Speaking of friendship, I floated the idea to a common friend that they appear um, on one of our Friday sessions, and maybe we could just talk about their career journey so far and sort of product experiences and learning about product building. And I think that, and I almost don't want to prep anything for it and just sort of see what, um, let the conversation itself guide the next step. So I think if we could swing that, that would be interesting as well.
Yeah, sounds good. Are we showing him what we're working on at all?
He has access to the YouTube channel. So, if he cares, if he's a friend, if he, if he,
If he is a true friend.
if he's a true friend in the way friendship is meant to be, then he will have done homework. So,
This is
yeah,
this is
we'll see.
not a threat to the friendship.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's our next step, I guess, from a coding perspective, is to start working on the timer. One of our next steps from a discovery perspective is to play games. We have not actually played any games ourselves, together at least. I have played games in my life in the past, but together we haven't really spent time playing games recently. Although when we were working at a previous company, which I feel like in name, when we were working at Tilt, we did play games on some of our Friday sessions. If you recall, I feel like we played Code
Yeah, we
Names. We
played
played some other
Codenames.
games,
That's
and
all I remember.
so we have played games together, just not recently. So playing actual games and kind of learning the nuances of game progression, I think will be fun. And then we continue to build. I think we're also quickly approaching the question problem of figuring out the template and getting that as well. So I think I would ask you, Mary, even to like. I think it'd be fun for you to also take a look at latex and see what kind of representations of latex there are, how it gets convert, not like how it works, but like latex language and question representation into HTML and what styling options it gives you, because we might be limited if we go with latex, right? And then we're doing all this work of like visual representation, and then we say, oh, let's use this common templating math representation language, and it turns out it is a blocker in terms of what we can actually represent. So I'll do the same. I'll dig into latex a little bit and learn about it, and then we'll take it from there. And hopefully we will see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us for this in between session of Product Like It's Friday, even though it is Thursday. And we'll see you on a real Friday tomorrow. All right. Good night. I should have, this is probably being recorded, but I should have put my mouse, it is being recorded because I didn't end the stream, but I should have put my mouse over the intro so we didn't get that awkward